I'm sure. Very good morning. I'll share my screen. Oh, the screen share is still a problem for me. Okay, I'll go to incognito window. Please wait. It's still having issue. I'm back. I'll share my screen. Hmm. Yeah. I hope you are able to see my screen and my voice is audible. So we'll continue today with forms, forms controls and forms. So any queries till what you have seen yesterday, please let me know. Otherwise, we'll continue with today's topic. So is my voice audible, clear? Hello? Please raise your hand if voice is audible and clear. Yeah, okay, thank you. So I'll just continue now. I've shared the screen. Yesterday we were into the forms. So the first thing we learned from the forms is we are using a reactive form. That means the form contents are designed on the TS level, component.ts level, and that is getting used in the HTML, right? So the reference is done through form group. Form group is the native component. I'm binding for this form group. I'm binding my register form. Register form is the name that I given to that form. So this is underneath the class. So I'm declaring the variables. So I don't need to use let or constant here. So it is directly I can assign the variable, and this variable is nothing but a form group, and form group is associated with multiple components, form controls. So controls are email, password, confirm password. These are all the three things that we are given, and we have validated for the syntax. So validators required, validators email, that means default email validation is carried for that email. Password required field, minimum length 5, maximum length 10. Confirm password has to match with password that we have not yet seen. So I'll just start the service. I have not started yet. I'll just start the service. Starting the service now. ng serve is the command to start the service. It will automatically deploy the server, local server, and in that local server, it will publish the data. So in this, there is no caching, nothing. It is all free from cache. So because it's a local installation. So it is building the data, building done. I'm going to the local host. I can see the site. This is what we have seen yesterday. So email, if I give wrong email like something, if I try to move, it will validate that email is not, format is not right. So that is what that email validation is all about. How do we verify this error? So for that, there are two ways I can do. Yesterday we have seen that as well. I enable this my button by default so that I have given the control of that my button So I enable this my button now. What I do is I'll just copy paste button, one more button. This button I'll disable it, or I can let it be. So this I'll say sign up. Instead of mine up, I'll just say sign up. Same button, same functional call, same everything. I've just given the uh, sign up as my button name. It calls the function. I just remove this disabled function for it. That means this is always enabled, so that I know what I need to do next. Actually, I want to display the error below this form field, display the error. If there is a problem, I want to display the error here. So how to display the error, how that can be managed is what we are going to see. For that, we need to understand the form controls. We need to understand how the form controls enables or disables, sorry, how the form control have the attribute or values. So that is what we are going to see. You just click here, password, I just put something. So I just sign up. It is red color, sign up. When I click on sign up, you can see this confirm is also enabled because it is a invalid, because it is expecting a value to be there, required field is there. So if I try to go to the console log, right click, inspect element, console log, you can see that that form group is listed here. In that form group, if I open, you can say the status is invalid and the contents are, right? Contents are confirm. If we controls, it is underneath controls. Error is required true. That is controls invalid. Error is required true. So confirm. It is a confirm control. Email control. Error required true. Email control. Password control invalid. That's a maximum. So that is called errors. This attribute tag is having the max length or whatever the field required you are given. So this name is coming from the name that you are given in your form. I'm going back to the form. This name is coming from the name that you are given here, required, email, min length, max length. The same thing is what you are seeing it there. So here required was missing. So how do I validate that? So I can do it like this. Mat error. Mat error is again a default thing that is available. Mat error. If in case of error, NGF, conditional statement. So it is my form, register form is my name of the form. Register form dot get control name is email, within quotes email, this is my control name, dot errors. If errors are there, that means errors are defined. Errors are defined, you enable this mat error. So form, my form name, controls, dot controls, instead of dot controls, I'm getting get email. Email is the control name. Now this register form get email will give me the entire email control. Errors, in that I'm verifying errors. If errors is defined, what I want to say is errors is defined. In this case, there are two possibilities. One, I have a errors with reference to email. Another is errors matching to mandatory field. So there are two possibilities now. One is errors. Errors is there or not. If errors is there, it is shown as an array. I go back to the form. It shows as an array. That array is not array. Errors dot required. Errors dot, right? So errors dot required true. So in our case, if errors dot required is there, then you say This field is mandatory. Mandatory. This field is mandatory. In case if I have email, errors.email. So usually errors itself may be there, may not be there. So for, you need to, in such conditions, you need to use question mark. Question mark means if it is undefined, it will not throw an error. Right? If it is there, you display. If it is not there, you don't do anything. You just ignore. If it is there, then invalid email. That's all I just wanted to say. So there are two errors possibilities in this condition because this is what I have created underneath components. One error is required. Required means it is not filled. Then email. Email is validation, default validation. So in case this required is there, then you say this field is mandatory. In case email is exists, you say invalid email. Just see how it has got reflected. Very simple, very effective. This is the advantage of material components. I don't have to write too many codes. I just have to understand. For understanding the component, you don't have to remember it. You just print it. You will know the entire component details as part of the console log. From there, you can know the syntax. So you don't have to, you just bear minimal information. If you remember, it is sufficient. So in this case, invalid email, I have given here. I saved it. Oh, okay. So there is a problem. Errors required. This field is mandatory. What is required comes up for an index signature, so it must be associated with. So he says you don't use dot, use dot required. So you use the bracket. So we'll follow that. We follow that. We just follow that. Same thing for email. I'll just follow that. The quote has to be closed. Make sure this quote closure and all is properly recognized, properly done. Now email. Right? So I just save it. Let us see whether any error is there or is again error, null or undefined. Possibility of null or undefined. That is also same. Object possibly null or undefined. That is why we use that bracket, but he still says you don't use it. Null or undefined. Is not equal to null. I'm just validating it. Let me check. Same problem. So that is supposed to work. What we generally do is we'll put it as part of the functions. I don't know whether it will not accept. That is why we use question mark. Somehow it is not accepting it. GF is correct. Syntax is right. Yeah, syntax is right. Email, register form. Otherwise, we use a function. That function will return the value. That is easier. Errors, right? For us, it is the errors. Compiling email is invalid because it's a possibility of null is there. Okay, what I'll do is one more condition I will add. Register form dot get email dot errors. If errors exist, and let us see this. If errors exist and required. It may be there, may not be there. That is true. I do agree. Let us see this, whether this gets resolved before we go to the next one. If it is not, on sign up is okay. This is different problem. Register form invalid. That is all okay. What is that? Errors. Object possibly null. That is why we are giving this. If it is not null only, I need to get. Okay, let me just try this as well here. Errors and errors is null. Error it came or errors it came. Otherwise, what I'll do, just do a comment. Just see whether it is error or errors. View it. It is got compiled. Let us just go through the controls. Sign up. I click here. Sign up has come. Errors. ERRORS. Spelling mistake. So in this case, everything is null. Form dot controls. Okay. Form dot controls. Errors only we have given. Okay. Email dot errors is not right. This is the one where I have a bracket. No need of bracket. If exist, email dot question mark dot email. Let us see this. If it comes, let us see. Otherwise, we'll see alternate. We'll go with the alternate. No, it is no, it is compiled now. It is compiled now. Let us see the UI. Now, if I click, I'm not getting any message, unfortunately. No thanks. I'm supposed to get a message here. So why I am not getting the message? We'll see it from the error. Form data, email, confirm email. That is correct. Errors is record is true. That means this is a valid statement. Ah, okay. I have commented it. That is why it is passed. Okay. Let me try again. No, it is not accepting. Okay, I'll leave it up for time being. I just take out this. Take out this. Remove this. Otherwise, we'll use the different conditions. I'll just come to that. ng form or ngif equal. Let me just put that here. ng form register form control register form dot get email. I'm just getting the email control dot errors. I just print that errors. Right? Let us see whether it is printing or not printing. This line I commented. I'll just see. I'm just making sure mat error is there, and I'm just printing whatever is register form get email. That is this control name. Printing dot errors. Let us see whether that is. No, that also not. Yeah. Okay. I'll put this control itself. Compiled successfully. Then we'll know what is that. Is there any object? So it is an object. It is printing, but it is in red color. You notice that it is in red color. I can just make it as there is called JSON pipe symbol. There is a pipe symbol. These are all part of Angular material. It is there. I'll just try this. Yeah, that means that object will not come. It will display the entire the content. No, it is not error. There is an error in the control. Pipe JSON is not restructure because it's a big subject. Okay, big object, so it is not doing that. I just put
Dot value, sir.
dot value I can put, but I want the error content. I'll just do one thing. I'll just put JSON stringify. That also will fail. That also will fail. Let us see. At least stringify should not fail. Let us see. JSON stringify is not acceptable. Okay, it doesn't exist in this context. Agreed. No problem. Let us remove this all. I'm putting another ng form, ngf equals register form dot get email dot invalid. If it is invalid, I want to pass it. At least this should work. This should work. I'll say here it is mandatory field. This should work. Invalid status is part of the object. Why am I doing some mistake here? Am I making some mistake here? And let me do one thing. I'll control this. I'll come back here. Button sign up. I'll do here this dot register form dot get control email console log. Whether this should not fail at least. This is what we do generally. I don't know. I commented it. I save it. Sign up. I come back. Form control, form data. Form control is coming. Errors, everything is coming. Dot errors, everything is coming here. Required true. Status is invalid. What is status? Not invalid. What is status? Okay. Dot status. This dot register form dot get email dot errors. Let us see this. FS is done. Sign up. Now it is done. Sign up is done. The invalid. Okay, it is dot status. Required is true. That this is okay, fine. Invalid. Dot status is invalid. I'll just put dot status. Here I put invalid instead of invalid. I'll put start status. Let's just comment it. Try. No, that is also not working. There is something problem here. It is not working. This register
Question
form
mark.
get is not. Question mark is not working. I'll try. Status is always there. It is a mandatory field. I've done several places, but somehow it is not. Yeah, this time it is. It is mandatory field. Oh, now dot get email. The reason is this binding is taking some time before this form is getting displayed. The HTML is first printed, then only this gets executed. That is taking some time. Now everything will work. Get status, if it is invalid, or I call it as errors, in errors dot required. Now let us see compilation. It was. I now understood. No, it is still not get email dot style component HTML signature. It must be accessed with required, he's saying, but anyway, that is not. He will say that is undefined. We will say that is undefined, but let us just try, give a last try. Okay. So within quotes, I have to give if it is thing. No, it doesn't. Leave it off. So we'll come back with the functions. That is the easiest way. If email.status is there, email.status is there, then you can say it is mandatory field. It is mandatory field. If so, status is failed means one mandatory or invalid email. So you can see that this is coming in the red color by default. By default, it comes in the red color because the mat error component takes care of the font, everything. So based on this, if email is status is invalid, that is, it is not a valid, status equal to invalid. I have to validate that also because it is a condition. It is a simple condition. It is not like true or false. It is a invalid, then only I want to print this. Otherwise, I don't want to print that. So it is mandatory or invalid field. I'll say now hello at hello.com. Now you can see that is gone. If I give any invalid email, it will come. Dot, it is mandatory field or invalid email. So .com once I put or anything I type, once I put the dot, proper dot, it is a valid. So then this proper validation takes place. Then this, if you put it here, by default, you can see it is a empty, that is called dirty. One, I don't want to display if this content is not dirty. So there is called dirty variable. I just clicked on sign up. So form group, there is called dirty. Dirty is also not controlled. Email status invalid, status changes, value is whatever the actual value that we have given. So that is called dirty, get dot dirty. If it is dirty, right, then dirty means it has to be touched upon. I think that is what they call it as pristine. So the pristine is the word used. This pristine is nothing but if it is touched or not touched. I say A, B, C, D, F. I sign up here. I clicked on sign up. One more time it might have come. You can see that pristine is still, that is false. It is our which control. I need to see which control. I have done it for email. Email pristine, still that is also false because his email is true. That is, this is the value that is supposed to be failed, and pristine is touched here. Touched is true. In previous case, touched was false. Touched is true. In previous case also, I'll refresh the page. I will not touch anything. I'll click on sign up. I click on sign up. So pristine true. Pristine true. I'll just say touched is false. Touched is false. Pristine is true. I now type it. I given a wrong value, but I typed it. Now you can see again control. Open the control. Now pristine is false. That is what it is touched. Here it was true. Touched is also true now. So that is called dirty. Pending dirty. Dirty is the generally the method that we apply is dirty. So what we do is and register form dot get email, all case sensitive, get email dirty. If it is dirty, I don't know whether it is get dirty or dirty. Yeah, if it is dirty, I just let us see whether it is giving error for that also. It is giving error. So unfortunately, it is not touched. Again, it is giving error. There is some mistake somewhere. It is supposed to get registered. It is not registering at all. somewhere. That is why required is also not working, errors is also not working. Maybe it is any other component it is expecting, that also I don't know. Let me just find it out. So anyway, I'll remove this. So at least status is working for time being. Touch is not working. I just leave it off for time being. So that is also there. Somehow it is not working here. Second is you can also give hint. Hint is one small hint that you want to give at a, which is all the smaller font. Please enter your email. Right? I want to put the hint on the top, then below error. Control X, put that on the top, then Control S. So that is hint. By default, it will show the hint. So I want it below. So put it underneath the div. Put it underneath the div. That means it will come below by default because div is a blocking candidate. So please enter your email because it is a blocking candidate. So you can do that. What will happen if I put it inside the mat form field? If I put inside the mat form field, what will happen? Right? So inside the mat form field I have given, you can see now that font is changed. Font is changed and it is appearing very near to email. Very email, and it is mandatory field to or invalid email. It is very inside this, very near but smaller font. That is because mat form, it is a component of the mat component. So only error and all it is able to take place. But if it is a child of mat form field, the way it will appear is different. There is no gap between that email and this field. There is no gap. So mat hint will be, by default it appears when there is no error. When there is an error, it will disappear. So I'll just put at gmail.com. Then you can see hint is appearing because it's a valid candidate. Because of that, hint is appearing now. Either hint or mat error, within that space provided, he will validate. So that is how this is done. So register form, always HTML is appearing, just bind it by the time this app component gets loaded. But this is working, but there it is not working. What we generally do is we'll create a function. So that function will, like for example, I give an example of get error message. We don't do it everything because there may be more content to validate. So in that I have multiple controls. So I give control 1, control 2. So what I'll give is, one is name of the control, control name, CNTRL, control name. Second one is control itself. I'll give it like this. Assume that I'm giving it like this. For timing, I just put any here. This is actually string. Control is any, that one is string. This is string. Right? All this validation, if you don't want to perform, it is all part of the Angular JSON. You can disable the case sensitive, you can disable a lot of validations from there. But default follow it so that you understand what it is. Control is basically a form control. Basically, it is a form control. That is how the class name is, or because this is the email I'm going to use, this is nothing but a form control. Declaration, you can see it is form control. So that form control is what declaration is actually supposed to be used. So if control name equal to email, this is for simplicity. Email, I'm just validating the email. Later you can do it for other things. What I want to check for errors. This if email and this dot register dot get email dot errors. If it has a errors, Okay. If it has a errors, right, then I want to continue. I want to check for the errors. If it has a errors, I want to say message equal to or return, because it is a get error message. Return, or generally we don't return it directly. In this case, it is okay. Return what I want to return. So uh, first is I need to validate further. If this dot register form dot get email question mark dot errors, right, question mark dot required. If it is, again this is giving issue here. Again it is coming an issue because it's an abstract control. There is not allowing me null, possibility of null. That is why I validated here. There is no possibility of null. It has to be defined. I validated there. Validated there. Filing validation all if. Okay, register form get email dot errors required. This, okay, I think dot value. Dot value. I'll just put this. Dot value is also not working. No, that is also not working. Index signature. Somewhere, some problem I'm doing. Let's just see. If this value is there, I just print it. I'll just print it now. Console log. I'll just print it now. Console log, just print it. If get error message. So this error message, I also given control directly. I can use that. Form control I have given. I don't have to use the thing. So control dot errors dot required. Is it accepting? Not accepting. Errors not accepting. Controls dot errors. It is supposed to accept abstract control. That is why the difference is. It is not form control. It is taken as a abstract control. That is the reason. Of course, error may be there, may not be there. That I agree. I agree on that. And there is an abstract control. Control dot value dot errors required. I think this is acceptable. Yeah, that is what this is missing. Value dot errors, because it's an abstract control. Let us see this. So if control value dot errors, this I can put it on the top itself. I can put it in this itself, this message. Instead of this, control dot value dot errors, console log control value dot error required. If required is there, if it is required is there, defined, I mean defined, then I want to control return message equal to this field is mandatory. This is mandatory field. Mandatory field, void it is there. So no quick fix, this mandatory field or undefined. Get error message if undefined, else null, return null. But here what is happening is return get error message component mandatory field. This is mandatory field from control. I'll just say string or null. Let's return state. It's not so complicated. I don't know why. Else else return null. Okay. Else return null. Some return value has to be there because we are returning the value. Something has to return. So if error message is there, it returns the value. So what I could do is I can call that error message here. So if error message is there, you can take it up. So get, here I can pass it on curly braces because it's a field. Get error message, whatever we have given here, whatever the name we have given, copy paste that. Here there is no need of this. Pass the control name, that is email, that is the control name. Again, another is control itself. Control means this dot, sorry, register form dot email dot get email within quotes. That control itself I am passing as the uh, candidate here, that is form control. Control if it is string, so control name is email and control dot value is having errors, I am passing it as mandatory field. Otherwise I am returning null. So if this is done, you go here, just put ngif. If there is an errors, you want to pass it, otherwise you don't want to pass this. Ngif, let it be. Without this, let us just do fs, save full. So it is error. I made it as a function. That function is getting called. Make sure the parenthesis, everything is matching. That is very important. So make sure the I'll put a colon here. Is still the get error message. That is some mistake somewhere I'm doing. Register form dot value dot get email. Is that right? No. No. There is something mistake that is happening because we are using a abstract control. Abstract control is giving some error. Register form is correct. Value is not right. It is supposed to be get. Get is correct. Get is correct. So I'm supposed to pass the control there. That is right. But it is not working. Email and it is not working. Okay, I'll leave it at this. I'll put it, I'll take the value there. I'll just put the email here. I'll remove the control from here. Remove the control from here. I'll take here this dot register form dot get email, making sure it is done. Get email dot errors. Then this control will not come. New form group, register form, email is there, that email is registered, this control will be a problem. This is basically the control, right? Form group, get email is the abstract control. Signature for get support, constants and constants arrays, dot get foo bar arrays. Retrieves the child control given the control's name or a path. Foo bar. Dot get is saying array. Array. Let me just see console log. I'll put this entire thing off. I'm being console log register form get email. Get email. I'll just see whether it is work is service error. Just some message I'm just giving error. So I'm not using control name. I'm just using that is also okay here. I'll just use control name here. Control F, just let me see whether it is printing that or not, because that is what help says. Let us see that. Form control, there is no error at least. So I'm going back, clicking on sign up. So he says required true form data group precision get error form control print 30 get error status is invalid required true. That means he's printing that message here, that email. He's printing this email here, get error message. I'm just trying to see where I am coming from. Because at the time of loading itself, it will load, get error message, because he's printing that form there. So it is going with control name is working. Now let me say errors. Okay. So it is printing. If I go here, get error message, that's a form control. Form control is having errors, etc. So I can give array of forms or I can give individual forms. Both are available. So let control equals, I'll put this here, is an abstract control. So then control dot value, console log control dot value. Value, that means it is whatever is typed or whatever has been done. So control dot value, the form control current value it will be showing, that is basically direct value of the control, whatever is typed. Because it's a functional call, it will keep ASTF is printing. That is the value of the component. So if I put dot errors, control dot errors, control dot errors, if I put I'll just put ASD sign up. I don't have to click actually. So email true. It is saying as email as true. So that is the value. That email may be there, may not be there. So in this case, I'll just say email. Then he gives the error because it may be there, may not be there. Email may be there, may not be there. So what he's saying, expecting colon. I don't know. It may be there, it may not be there. That is why dot is not going to work. Dot will not work. There is an abstract control. There is a way to return the data. There is some failure there. Somewhere it is failing. Email is not working. Email comes as an index signature. Quick fix. Use element access of email. Let us see. Element access of email. Let us see that. ASD true. Now I have not pressed this time this, so it is true. Oh, that is the mistake. Okay. So I have to do it in this way. Email, errors of email. So then I get the control. If now I send a message, I'll put it as a if condition, if control dot value dot something is true, then return message, it is invalid email. Right? If control, else if, put it the same thing, control dot, here it is wrong, remove this, control dot, this is like this, you put, instead of valid, it is required, then return error, that is else if, else return null. Return null. That means every candidate there should be a return. That means this error message is a return statement. This should be, some value should be returned anywhere. If I'm using if, else if, then I am giving else. So email you check. If email is not there, you check for required. If all are matching, send the message. So I just say save all. Now I put the type something here. So if I put invalid email, you can see invalid email is coming. AB instead of an.com. There is no error now. Error is coming. If I put remove that only at the rate invalid email, that message is coming. Same thing I can do it for password. So only thing, you just pass on the control name. Pass on the control name. Say for example, the same thing, I put it copy paste here. Pass on the control name, right? The password. Pass on the control name here, password. Then remaining part, the same code will work now because I'm passing the control name, getting that control name out. If error is errors, else if, I'll put some more here. Else if control dot errors dot this time min length min length. If it is min length or max length, either of the two, or is symbol is like this, max length, then you pass on the value, return must be between 5 and 10. 5 and 10. So I have now same thing here also, just for the consistency purpose, I just put it inside the thing. So else if, but same thing, but control, according to the control name, the display will happen. According to the control name, display will happen. So for example, ASDF, here password is say 12345. Of course, I have to put that password, get control name. You can see here, form control, dirty, persistence, control name, password, errors, min length, max length. L is small letter. I made it as capital letter. L is small letter. That is why it is not appearing. L is small letter. Here also it is small letter. If it exists, just do this. That's all. Now you can see in the UI. So I just type in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can see between 5 and 10. Email 1, 2, 3. So invalid email. I remove this password. Now it is normal. I am going below 5. It is coming up. So automatically he takes care of that as we go in. So I'll end here today. So there was some abstract control. This is the new concept that has come up, abstract control. Usually we use form builder and then grouping that form builder. Abstract control is a new concept that is of course simple. Unfortunately, we made it as complicated because of the way it behaves. Anyway, so tomorrow we'll do that is Monday. Tomorrow MCQ will be there. So MCQ again, it will cover all the topics. So basic form controls will take my button, accent, that is matte raised button, matte flat button, all those will take. So my MCQ is there between 11 and 1. Monday we'll go into the routing and custom validation. That is multi-control custom validation. These two things we'll take it up on Monday. So I end the session here. Thank you.